Okay, so what we're going to see here is what has been excavated after the discovery of the Dead Sea Scrolls in 1947, and they still keep digging in this area to find other things that would have been here, like some other caves that we haven't yet excavated, but we did find in those 11 caves those 950 scrolls so far, and we will see them the day we go to the Israel Museum. They were put in those caves before the Romans arrived here. So we believe somewhere around 67 AD, 68 AD, those Jews who lived out here in the desert had to leave, because for the Romans it made no difference who you were. So from here they left, and nobody knew about those scrolls being here for those last 2,000 years till that shepherd boy found them. Now, what brought the people to live in this area? Why did they come up here? So they were priest families, and of course what brings us back to this area is Isaiah chapter 40 verse 3. What does it say in Isaiah 40 verse 3? You remember? How come you don't?
It's the comfort of the Lord.
Comfort of the Lord,
Comfort ye
right.
my people, comfort ye my people. Speak comfortably to Jerusalem.
And then it says here, prepare ye the way for the Lord, make straight in the desert a highway for our God.
Amen.
Okay? So that's why they came to live out here in the desert. They had very strong messianic expectations, and that's why they settled right here in the desert, in this place. There's nothing good about this place, except because of that verse that we just read now, comfort my people. So those people who were kind of persecuted by the priests in Jerusalem came and lived here in this little community. And they really believed that what they've been doing here and the way they live here and their philosophy, that will bring the Messiah to Israel. That's why they settled here in Qumran and in some other communities nearby. And we even try to say that that's also the reason why John the Baptist came and lived out here in this desert. Reminding you, we're just a few miles away from the place where the Jordan flows into the Dead Sea, where Jesus was baptized by John.
Who?
Mishu B'Shem Yeshua. See, when I say to other groups Yeshua, they wouldn't know what I'm talking about. So that's why we're so used to saying Jesus. But you're absolutely right. We should really teach you Americans, or you teach them to say the right name. Yeshua. Okay. Yeshua. Okay, so that's why this place is so important to us. And of course, the discovery of the Dead Sea Scrolls, guys, this is the oldest Hebrew Bible that existed before the Dead Sea Scrolls were found, is only like 1,000 years old. It's the Aleppo, okay, the Aleppo Codex. So here we have now, so nobody could say, oh, when was the Bible written? How can you prove to us that this Bible is actually the same one that was here 2,000 years ago? That ended when the Dead Sea Scrolls were found here, and they turned out to be 150 BC. Okay, so those scrolls, that Bible that we found here, identical with the Bible that we have, is 21 or 2,200 years old. Okay, so that's why I said this, ladies and gentlemen, this is the discovery of the millennium. Nothing. We have seen so far places and houses and all of this. Nothing to be compared to what was found here. This is the greatest of all discoveries. And guess when it was found? What year was it found?
47.
What happened in 47?
Became a country.
Yeah, but that's when the UN
That's right.
came up and said, this land is land that belongs to the Jewish people. At the same time, when the people were dancing on the streets, Professor Sukenik, who is the father of Yadin, walked with 3 of those scrolls that he just bought from the Bedouin guy, from the guy in Bethlehem, Mr. Kando, that you remember him.
Oh, yes.
You remember? He sold it to him. Those are the original scrolls that were found here by those Bedouins a year before. And thanks God that they didn't know what's the meaning of them. They even brought them to America. In 1954, there was an ad in the Wall Street Journal that some original scrolls that were found in the Holy Land are for sale. And that's when Yadin bought them and brought them back into Israel. Okay? Otherwise, they would have been now in America in Yale, Duke University. They were the ones who had them. But they weren't sure that they are real. They saw that they are maybe fake, and that's why they weren't really willing to keep them, and that's how we were able to get them and bring them back into Israel. Okay? So it's a miracle after a miracle that we have those Dead Sea Scrolls here in Israel where they belong to. And you will see them, of course, on that day when we take you to the Shrine of the Book at the Israel Museum.
Are there still any of the original ones that are not in Israeli hands?
Yeah, there are some that disappeared. There's no question that there's some hidden ones that people have and we don't know where they are. But
Esther
well, Esther is you know what's the problem with the book of Esther?
doesn't say God.
Right. It doesn't have God's name. So that's why we believe that this particular people, maybe thought that would not be a book of, that they thought would be a book of the Bible. That's the only explanation that we have. Why Esther wasn't found. Because every other book of the Old Testament, of the Jewish Bible, Torah, and the Tanakh were found here, except Esther and Nehemiah.
Wow.
And Nehemiah is not a problem because Ezra and Nehemiah were probably together at that time. So we did find part of Ezra. Okay? But the only complete book is Isaiah. Of course. Isaiah with all of its 66 chapters.